Alright, hello and welcome to Hunter x Hunter episode 29. It's been, I think, about a week since I recorded the last episode. I had to take a long break because of a bunch of a bunch of stuff that was going on, including me getting a cold. I'm still recovering from the cold, but hopefully I'm in good enough condition now to record again. That's my hope. But yeah, last time we left off, we were learning all about Nen, and over the last couple of weeks, I've tried to, get all that in my head and understanding how it all works and stuff like that. So hopefully by now I understand it properly. I don't have much to say. We're training. We need to get into registration or whatever it was. We need to register for floor 200 by midnight. So we've got a couple of hours. I can't remember exactly how many hours it was, but we've not got much time. But we need in that time to learn about Nen and how to use it and all that stuff. So let's just get into it and see what our lads can do, eh? Alright, that was episode 29. It's very fitting, isn't it, that right after... Well, I mean, it's very fitting that everyone on here uses Nen, because we've just learned that Nen exists. So now we've learned now that we've learned it exists, we can now get to see through these other users the extent to which people can manipulate Nen in creative and unique ways, right? So we've just learned that Nen exists, and now we're going to be given a showcase basically on the different ways it can be used and all these different techniques and stuff. So it was mentioned in the episode that on floor 200 there's a customary greeting of the Nen attack, right? Someone comes up to the floor, and then the other people greet them with it by attacking them with their Nen, which could potentially even kill them if they're not ready. And the implication seems to be that those three, the red guy, the tall lanky dude, and the guy in the wheelchair, were people who survived that Nen attack but were crippled by it, I guess. At least that's the implication I got from what we saw. Especially when Killer said we could have ended up like them if we went in blind. Man, Gon is really... he's really invested in fighting. He's a worrying child. If I knew him, like if I was actually his friend, I would be so fucking terrified all the time that he's going to get himself killed. Because that's the thing, is like, the guy told him, I can't remember exactly what it said. It wouldn't have been like you could master Nen, because mastering it I imagine would take a long time. But he said something along the lines of you could learn to control it within 2 weeks or something like that, right? Was it the meditation? I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe I'm misremembering. But it feels like with their talent, if they just hold off fighting for like just a couple weeks, then they could really, they could get some dramatic improvements in that time. You know what I mean? I understand Gon wants to fight and he wants to do it as quickly as possible. Just a few days. You actually, just think about it, right? Within a couple of hours, you went from not even being able to walk down the corridor because Hizuka was there, to being able to walk right past him like nothing, right? Just within a couple hours. So just, hang out a couple days, get a bit of training in, just a little bit. But that's the thing, Gon and Killua only had time to master 10, which was the defensive one. I think I still have my notes on all that somewhere. It should be somewhere around here. Here we go, I still have it. Okay. So Nen, manipulating your energy. 10 is to build up your life energy. Zetsu nullifies your aura. And Ren creates a very strong aura. And then we learned in this episode that Hatsu is where you project your aura outwards. So, yeah. So they've only learned 10 at the moment, which is the first of the four. It was something... Guido. He isn't using his Nen directly to attack. He's not like shooting energy balls or anything like that. He's using his Nen to manipulate these spinning tops, and these spinning tops are doing the fighting for him, right? Which makes sense. I was wondering how he's going to fight, because he looks like crippled, he looks like he doesn't have any legs, very badly damaged, so it makes sense that he'd use something else to attack for him, which does make me imagine that maybe once you get past those spinning tops to him, it's not going to be too much of a challenge to take him out in, like, melee combat, Like, getting past his spinning tops is going to be really difficult, but once you do, and you're up close to him, you've got it, right? You can maybe take him out. But then also he said it's so complex that even I don't know what's going to happen next, right? In regards to the way in which his spinning tops attack, which is of course him complimenting himself and how advanced in whatever his spinning top combat is. But it's also a bit of a double-edged sword because if even he can't predict the spinning tops and their movements, then it kind of means there's not much strategy to it, you know? Like he's not. I mean, it's not. It's not that there's not strategy to it. There probably is, but I mean, like he can't. He can anticipate the movements just as little as his opponent can, which means he doesn't have the advantage of knowing what his opponent doesn't. Right? If you know this is going to go here and this is going to go here and this is going to go here, and your opponent doesn't, that means that you can plan accordingly and they can't. Right? But if neither of you knows what's going to happen, then both of you are kind of on a level playing field for not knowing what the fuck's going on. Right? And yeah. I forgot about the 10-point system. This guy's won 4... He's had 5 fights and he's won 4 of them. He has a 4-1 record, which is decent. That's a decent record. But it implies he's relatively new here, right? If he only has 5 fights, that implies he's pretty new. Well, that makes sense, though, because... Alright, so... It said that once you... Okay. So... You're on this floor. You need to win 10 times in order to challenge the floor master. If you lose 4 times before you win 10 times, then you're disqualified. Which means that you can fight a maximum of 14 times on this, because you could win... No, not 14 times, sorry. You would be able to fight a maximum of 9 wins and then 4 losses, so that would be 13. So a maximum of 13 times in total before you get disqualified, I think. Right. So, yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to win 10 in a row. You just have to win 10 before you lose 4. So if you won 5 fights but lost 3 fights, you could still continue on and challenge one of the masters as long as you then win your next 5 fights, to get a total of 10 wins. Right, so it doesn't have to be 10 in a row. That makes sense. And then there's I was thinking those 3, those 3 that we saw were the masters, but clearly not. I mean, a guy with a 4-1 record can't be a master because he can't even challenge the master because he doesn't have more than he doesn't have 10 wins, right? So he's obviously not a master. He's just a guy. Presumably one who's relatively new to the place as well, because he only has 5 fights. Then again, if you only have to fight once in 90 days, 90 days is like 3 months-ish, right? Roughly speaking. So that means you could get away with fighting only like 4 times in a year, if you really delay it. So 5 fights, he could potentially have been around for like over a year if he really stretched out the time between fights. But yeah, but he could also have been here for like a week, if he just really rushed through them. Who knows? Presumably not, though, but you get what I mean. I'm just speculating here. Okay. What was it? 21 masters. I can't remember exactly what floors it was. It was like from floor... I think it was from floor 230 to floor 251. A master claims each floor. And then that master of the floor competes in the... I can't remember. It was like Battle Olympia or something like that. It looked like a massive arena, like a gladiator arena type thing. And whoever wins... the masters all compete in that, and whoever wins becomes like the Grand Master, and he lives in the penthouse on floor number 1, right? Okay, so yeah, those masters must be really good. I wonder if... I was going to say I wonder if Hizuka is one of the masters, but he said that he would be willing to fight Gon if Gon just won a single fight. So I feel like that wouldn't be the case if he was a master, because they'd be like, well, if you win 10 fights, then, that. But yeah, that doesn't... Okay. But if he's not a master, is that because he doesn't want to be a master? Or is that because the masters are even stronger than he is? Are they above him? Who knows? I don't know. We don't know what the scope of this world is, If we go from the weakest person in the world as a 0 and the strongest person in the world as a 10, Hizuka might be an 8 or he might be a 3, It is still the first arc, so Hizuka in comparison to other people, could actually be pretty low level, or he could be super strong and he's going to be prevailing throughout the whole thing. I don't know. Oh man, yeah, and yeah, Gon. He's in a tough fight here against Guido, because Guido, it has the 10-point system, right? Which is where I have it written down here. I can't remember. It was clean hits, critical hits, and knockdowns. So clean hit is 1 point, critical hit is 2 points, and the knockdown is 1 point. And right, the points don't count if you get up before the referee gets to you. But I think that's only for knockdowns though, because if you get a clean hit, then you got a clean hit. It doesn't matter if the referee gets to you or not, surely, right? Like, you still got hit clean, right? So I imagine the whole, it doesn't count if the referee doesn't get you, probably only counts for knockdowns, I assume. Yeah, that would make sense, if it only counts for knockdowns. But this is in a rough situation, because Gon is in the middle of all these spinning tops which are attacking him from all sides. If one hits him, that's going to count as a clean hit. So Guido can just stand back on the other side of the arena, throw in his spinning tops and just sit back as he racks up the points and eventually wins, because Gon doesn't even need to be knocked out. He just needs to be hit 10 times by these spinning tops. He's already been hit once, and bam, he's gone. You just say something like, oh, he just needs to avoid the spinning tops and get close to Guido or something like that, but it's difficult to say stuff like that because we don't really know what they're capable of, you know? Like, his plan could be something as simple as, I'm just going to dodge out of the way of the spinning tops, get close to Guido, and bing, bang, boom, knock him out. And even then, you'd need to still score 10 points against him, right? Like, it's not just a matter of going and knocking him out. Although, actually, no, that would count, because he said that if you can't continue, then you lose, right? So that would count still. But the point is, it's possible that he could do that, you know, where he just dodges the spinning tops and gets to him. But that's assuming he even has the capability of just dodging the spinning tops, you know? We really don't know exactly what these tops are capable of in relation to Gon, right? How fast they are in relation to his speed and whether he can dodge them, whether that's even an option or whether he's going to have to do something a lot smarter than that, because, you know, that's the thing, is like, we don't really know what the limits are for everything yet, so it's difficult to say. But what I will say is I assume that once you get past the spinning tops, Guido on his own isn't going to be particularly great in melee combat, would be my assumption. He's like Chaozu from Dragon Ball, before Chaozu became useless, before every side character in Dragon Ball became useless, where he's got these cool key attacks and these psychic abilities, but then if you just punch him in the face, he's not really that tough, you know? I'm also very interested to see what exactly it means by disqualification, right? Because it says if you lose 4 times, you get disqualified. But what does that mean exactly, right? Because Killua, he was told that if he didn't sign up by by midnight, he would be like prevented from competing again, right? Like, he'd be out for good. I'm assuming that's not what it means. I assume it means that, like, if you lose 10 fights, you get disqualified from the 200 floors. That'll be my assumption, right? You have to start again and try to get back up, and then you have a second shot once you get back up. You know, I assume that's the case. But still, it's like, given the fact that they're willing to just get rid of Killua once he, you know, if he doesn't show up on time, I wouldn't be too surprised if disqualification means you're gone forever and you can't compete again. That would be kind of sucky. Like, that would be kind of mean, but I don't know, it's entirely possible, I guess. Wing also talked about how there are 2 different methods for awakening someone's Nen. He was talking about how the reason they can't use their Nen, well, couldn't use their Nen, was because, I can't remember what exactly the word he used was. It was like paws, like magical paws that are closed off. And so there are 2 ways to open that. There's the, I can't remember what the name of the first one was, but it was like, there's something where, like, the disciplined way or something like that, and the aggressive way. And the first way takes a lot of time, you know. But then the aggressive way, you can get it done pretty quick, but it's very risky, right? Gon and Killua are able to do it so quickly because they seem to just have ridiculous amounts of potential, which I am very curious about, right? Because Killua, okay, it makes sense why he'd have so much potential. He comes from a family of assassins and all that, and it was already said that he's the most talented in the history of that family of assassins, right? And then we've got Gon, who is the son of a apparently very well-known and respected hunter. So I guess he just has it in his blood to be so talented, right? I really want to see how Gon and Killer would develop their abilities down the line, because we're being shown that Nen has a variety of ways of being used, right? We can see it being projected out as like almost like a force attack. We saw Wing harden paper and throw it to cut a can open. We're seeing this guy use it to manipulate spinning tops. We saw these three guys also use it to be invisible, it seemed like, for some time. Like, there's clearly a lot of ways you can use Nen once you've trained. I'm very, very interested to see how Gon and Killer will learn to use their Nen, and if they get any unique abilities, you know, like they get their powers and stuff. I really want to see how that goes, and I really want to see what they're capable of now that they can use Nen, because they were already super strong even without Nen to begin with, right? They've done everything they could. Everything they've done so far was done without being able to use Nen, right? So if they're already that strong just by default, then they must be really good once they are capable, right? We saw a few characters use what looked like Nen throughout the show so far. We saw Hanzo seemed to use something that looked like Nen. He got that white aura around him. Hizuka obviously used Nen. The guard, not the guard, sorry, the gatekeeper or whatever you want to call him, the guy who was looking after the Zoldyck estate, the one who opened the doors for them, right? He looked like, before he opened those doors, he got like an aura around him as well, which looked like Nen. So it seems like we have encountered a few Nen users so far. We just didn't know about it until now, right? We didn't realize what it was. Also, the fact that they specifically said you need to lose 4 fights before you get disqualified, that opens up a lot of doors for Gon losing. Killua too, but primarily Gon since he's the main character. That opens up opportunities for Gon to lose fights without having to drop out, right? He could lose a few fights and then, you know, be trying like, oh, he's on his 3rd loss. If he loses again, he'll be disqualified. But oh no, this fight is against Hizuka. He's definitely going to lose, you know, stuff like that. The fact that it's limiting it to 4 specifically, that gives you some opportunity to lose without being disqualified, but also sets a limit that you need to be careful of. So it's a nice little, it's a way to create some drama, and I'm sure they'll utilize it in some way. Yeah, I'd love to keep talking. I'd love to watch more episodes, but I've got a cold. My voice is very sore, and I'm very tired. So I'm going to leave it to just 1 episode today, because otherwise I think I'll probably die. So I'm just going to leave it here for now. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, it's all good. Subscribe if you want to be informed when I upload more content. Share the video around if you want to, because, I mean, that'll help me out a lot. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.